Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for tuning in on this, well, after Tropical Storm Ian type of day. A couple of days back, I was dealing with the storm. Luckily, Jacksonville just got a lot of wind and rain. Of course, it knocked, there's twigs and parts of trees laying on the streets and things like that. But not really suffering, not really any damage that I can tell. We did get, quite a bit of rain. Now, Daytona Beach, which is about an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes by car down 95, they suffered a little bit more. They did get some flooding, a little bit of damage. Up here, I do need to mention up here, when we did go out day before yesterday, I needed something from the store. Only thing I could find open was a Dollar General. Certain parts, as we were driving, the electricity was on, certain parts were not. So I think it had to do with certain grids getting knocked out. But that's about it. But where I'm at, in the place that I'm at, I didn't suffer any power outage or anything of any type. The only thing I had go wrong is a screen fell out of a window. Don't ask me how it happened. And a little bit of an issue where the gutter comes together. Part of it where it joins together, that came loose. But other than that, no damage. So I've been fortunate. But what we're here today to talk about, Jan from New York City Saves Money, is alongside with me today. Hey, Jan, how are
Hey,
you?
Steve. Hi, everybody. Steve, I can't tell you how glad, and I know I speak, on behalf of all of my viewers and subscribers. We are so glad that you are okay. We all were
Oh,
concerned.
sure. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Like I said, that is one of the pitfalls of living in Florida, being on having water on all sides of me down below the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico side. That is a, tornado, hurricane, is, very prone here. No disrespect to anybody. I know a couple of my subscribers live down in the central southern part of Florida. It is beautiful down there. Don't get me wrong. The pine trees, not pine trees, but the palm trees, the view, it's very pretty. Would I live down there? No, I would not. I did live in Pasco County for almost a year back in 2013, which is just north of Tampa, about 25 or 30 miles. But I liked it, but a part of me didn't like it. So then I wound up coming a little bit more north. So I thought, in-laws, aunts, family members would want to have something to do with you. They didn't even recognize that my dad and I were even in the area. My dad was badly mistreated. I didn't like the way he was spoken to by my aunt. And family or no family, you don't disrespect. I'm sorry. I do harp on the word respect a lot. It's a little bit of a long story, but then I eventually made my way back to Jacksonville back in 2015. I did eventually make my way back, and I've been here ever since. But I have lived in Jacksonville since '83. But like I said, except for living in Zephyr Hills for about a year, I've been here. And hurricanes are not new to me. And that's one of the things that we're here to talk about what to do in the case of an emergency. Hurricanes are not new to me. This is not my first rodeo, Ian. I have dealt with several hurricanes since I've been here in Jacksonville. Hurricane Floyd in '99 sticks out. That just sat right off the Atlantic of Jacksonville and would not move. And that was one. Hurricane Matthew, let's see, Matthew, Irma. I want to say Hurricane Sandy I was a part of as well. Hurricane Charlie I know I was a part of. But by the time it reached me, it was all tropical storms for the most part. Like Charlie, that one was a tropical storm. Now, Irma and Matthew were not. Those were direct Category 5 hurricanes. So, and you don't want to be in a hurricane of any type. You really don't. Dangerous. I mentioned that in my last video. My friend and I went to a Waffle House, and it wasn't too far of a walk. We just had to go across a little bit of a major highway because I was in a hotel to get something to eat. Of course, their menu was limited, but all is good. I made it through another hurricane, that type thing, tropical storm. But mainly, you and I are here to talk about emergency awareness on a storm or any other.
Absolutely, Steve. It always baffles me, and I have to use the term baffling. Just like financially, all of us know that at least in the United States, Christmas comes every year, December 25th. But yet it's such a surprise to people, and they still do their last minute shopping, and I can't afford or whatever, and have all year to get ready for it. That's another show. So people can prepare for Christmas to have all year. Why don't we have the same thinking in many cases with emergency preparedness? It's one thing to, say, oh, it's not going to happen, but a lot of people like to do things like locking the barn door after the cow is gone. I mean, what good is that? Nothing,
No,
not good. So
it's
there
not.
are things, and this is a gift that I purchased for myself. Last year, I bought one similar for Money Mom, Sensible Living with Money Mom Dawn, as a gift. I don't know if it was for Christmas or her birthday or whatever it was. I think it was Christmas. And what this is a portable broadband radio. Now, right now, you won't be able to hear it because every once in a while, you got to check to make sure it's charged up enough and this and that and that. And this does have the option to crank. Okay, you could crank it and all this and all that. And it has the radio, has a weather band on it, it has AM, FM. It has a very strong light. This is why, like myself, I don't want to lock that barn door when the cow is gone. So every so often I have to place it in the charger so it juices up. But it does have the crank, to do that, as well. I think these make a great gift if you're baffled as what to get someone. I have to share this, Steve. When we were hit hard in the New York tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area with the Superstorm Sandy, thankfully, my mom and I had, there was a company years ago called Radio Shack, and we had all these Radio Shack, Radio Shack portable radios. People laughed at them. Oh, they're so old fashioned. Well, you know what? Guess what? We ended up giving away, because we had a number of them. We ended up, well, they're supposed to be loaners, but both of my mom and myself, we figured we'll never see it again. And we were right. That those little radios got people through. There was a horrible 1 week without power.
Yeah.
And you know what, Steve? Am I right? How about getting things like also things to amuse you during the time of a power outage that's not electronic, like those search word puzzles. My mom had a couple of those books with her search words to, help pass the time. Things of that nature, crossword puzzles. Do you know how to play solitaire? I don't. I have to learn how. But
Solitaire, first off, if I'm going to play solitaire, I would rather do it with a real deck of cards
Yes.
rather than on your phone. Your phone is a computer. That one will try to cheat you. But if you have the actual deck, that's not going to happen. It's funny that you talk about board games. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite ones. Now, this particular board game can go on for days on end if you're not careful. It just so happens I have one available in front of me.
oh
Anybody,
no, yes,
anybody like Monopoly? Okay, I don't know how well I have it, but
I love it.
I am a fan of Monopoly. I mean, it is real life playing that game because if you're not careful, yeah, you can go broke from 1 minute to the next. But I have several board games here. I've also got Scrabble. That's another one that I like.
That's a
There's
great
one here. There is. There's another one here that's Clue. It's not your typical Clue. It's the Clue based on The Simpsons, so that should be a fun one.
Oh my word! How
I
cool
have it.
is that?
Yeah, and you've got I've got Connect Four. I think I've got a game called Life LIFE. So
Wow.
people need to revert back to the old board games. That doesn't take electricity.
No, and we can actually use our own like brain that God gave us and not rely on it artificial
Yeah,
intelligence.
yeah. I'm not again. I'm an '80s child, born in the '70s. Back then, there was no social media, cell phones. Yeah, if you were rich and you had a limousine, yeah, you had a cell phone. But it's not anything like today. And if I wanted to reach out to somebody, I either wrote a letter or I made a phone call with a thing called a landline. Remember those? They hung up in your
Yeah.
kitchen. It was a phone, and you picked it up and you dialed the 7 digits. Yeah. So that was my way of communicating with people. Or if you still had the rotary,
Yes.
which the rotary is fun. If you can't get through, you got to hang up and start all over again from scratch. But
Right.
but when the touch tone pad came out, it was like a sense of relief because all you had to do was touch the. Um, but
Amazing.
yeah, let's go back to basics. Cards is fun. Monopoly, the Scrabble, Life, Connect Four. I
Yeah.
mean, at this point, if you're looking for entertainment, if you have a game of Candyland, I know that's a child's game, but still, it doesn't matter. It's
Well,
a
kids
way
get
to pass.
bored. Keep that
Right,
in mind. Imagine bored
right.
kids. So that's a great thing to
Even
have.
even as an adult, it's been a while. Even as an adult, I've played Candyland. You know, so
You know what, Steve? There's another option too, as far as communications go. I don't know about where you are, but around here, if the cell phone towers aren't working, uh-uh, can't get through. So another option, in my opinion, that's a great thing to consider: a walkie-talkies. Good old-fashioned walkie-talkies.
I'm gonna have to come back to you and we did a video about this
No, but
about
that one, I know the one you're going to talk about.
Zello, Zello. All it is an app. You download it, you pick a screen name, you know the other person's screen name, they accept it, and you guys can hit a little microphone button and you can communicate back and forth like a walkie-talkie, and it's free.
Steve and I did a dedicated video about this. Was that on your channel?
I
Or was it
believe
on my channel? I don't remember.
in any case, well, either or, because we share a lot of the same
Yeah.
audience. But I'll just say on one of our channel, I don't think I did it. I think it's on your side because I go through my videos about 3-4 times
Because
a
I'll be
week and
glad to
just
list it if so. If it's on my channel, I'll put it on the community tab. Steve did a great service by teaching me about this app. This is totally for free.
Mhm.
So
The only downside is you have to have a smartphone to use it. It will not work with a flip phone.
okay.
And I do know that there are some people that still use a flip phone, and I get that, because especially a certain audience that likes the flip phone because it's much simpler to figure out. You know, but yeah,
There's another facet, Steve, I just want to mention. I placed an order. I'm not saying this is the healthiest food. I'm saying it's there for. Sometimes you're busy, sometimes you're unwell, and it is okay to get these things. I don't get a dime for saying this. I will push the envelope about Hormel complete meals. You get the kind that you enjoy. I purchased, like, because of this problem that going through in Florida. I said, Janet, as you know already, problems like this could happen any place. Get a whole bunch of those shelf stable Hormel completes. They are very affordable, shelf stable. And I did some research, Steve. They could last like 18 months on your shelf. You could put it in your car if you have to evacuate with your kids.
you can.
Just saying.
Right, and in the military, being a military or a Navy brat, my dad, in the military, you have these things called MRE. It's called Meal Ready to Eat. It comes in this pouch, and everything is there. So, worst case scenario, yeah, it's already cooked. All you're doing with the Hormel Complete when you put it in the microwave for about a minute, you're just heating up the contents. The content's already cooked. Worst case scenario, when you're hungry, you can just take it out of the package, peel that white film back, and if worse come to, you can just eat it right out of the package. I mean,
100% correct, Steve.
yeah. So,
I did the
and I,
research, and it's safe to eat cold, just for the
it is.
record.
Yeah. So I myself also promote the Hormel Complete. I mentioned that in Thursday's video. But I've even done taste reviews on the Hormel Complete. The Hormel Complete, if it's not an emergency, you can take a Hormel Complete and add to it and make a meal out of it.
Very true. You know what I did yesterday? I was super inundated with busyness. I recently had extra company, extra family over for a few days. And you know how it is, your schedule is sort of thrown off. So finally I had to play a day of catch up on my business related matters. I said, there is no way that I am in the mood, and I'm honest, of cooking a meal from scratch. I felt like comfort food. I grabbed one of those completes. I took the meatloaf and mashed potato out. I made some toast, put a little toast. I had a little salad left over. That was a great meal. Totally balanced, totally easy, and it satisfied.
Well, I think I have tried just about every Hormel Complete that there is out there. Um, Along with the chicken and rice, which is a nice one I do like. Another good one that I highly, highly, highly recommend, and yes, Amazon has it, at least on my end. Salisbury steak.
That's great.
Um, there's nothing wrong with mashed potatoes, but sometimes I would rather have slithered potatoes, like little
Sure, you have the
pieces.
option. Yeah.
Um, you know, but
Did you
I've
try the
tried
chicken Alfredo?
all of them. That one too.
Yum. That's really good.
I've tried them all, so they're all good. There is a chili with beans, Hormel chili with beans, Hormel Complete. Same thing. It's the same thing you get in a can, smaller scale. So again, if you want chili, I keep harping about the Southgate chili at the dollar store, and I also talk about Armor chili. They're not spicy. I've eaten Armor chili for pretty much all my life. I know what that one is. Because when I lived overseas, that's really all you had. You want chili, you had Armor or nothing. So,
These are totally great emergency preparedness foods. Whether even just for your budget has an emergency, you're having a tough time, can't get to the grocery store, you have 10 of those complete sitting in your stockpile. Don't feel bad about it. It is not a decoration. Stockpile is not a decoration.
no.
But you may want to keep a little bit extra in case of like something. And we hear the weather reports, Steve. These weather reports are not like a mystery. People have been warned, warned, warned. People did the best they could do. Sometimes things are just unimaginable, and my heart goes out to all the families of the devastation and everyone trying to rebuild. Always know that
Hmm.
we try our best. But if you're under a mandated evacuation, this is my opinion, and people still don't do it, I question that. I say, like, why? Why take that chance?
Yeah. Now, on a side note, opinion is not a word I like to use because no disrespect here. I hope I'm not too TMI. Everybody has one, and you know where I'm going with this, and they all stink. I don't talk about opinions. I would rather have a thought because, I mean, and another one, I'm going to throw a little sarcasm in here. Opinions are like vacuum cleaners. Everybody's got one and they all suck because they do. I
Well, I
don't like
hope
an
mine
opinion.
didn't.
I don't like an opinion because I'd rather have a forethought or a thought, but it doesn't matter.
On a
I
public
guess it's
platform like this, I will always say, in my opinion, it is just
okay.
better for me to do that.
Hmm.
I'm not
No,
going to
that
come on here and say, well, I have the facts. If it's not a fact, some people say, and trust me on the, well, aftermath. That's why I back
no,
me up with, in my opinion.
yeah, that's fine. To each their own, I guess. But
Yes.
I
No,
I
no,
don't
you
I
have
I
to.
don't
You have
I
to. On
don't
here, you have
yeah
to. I
yeah.
have to.
You have to. All right.
On this
Well,
platform, yes. I have to
okay.
say, in my opinion, yes.
I want to
Doing this
thank
4 years.
everybody. I want to thank everybody for coming on to watch our video. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Janet.
Thank
Everything
you.
is good here. You're
We're
welcome.
happy for you.
Right. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead, sign off, and I'm going to conclude it with a little music, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.